Hey, Ramiro, how are you? Yes, you're the first. Um, JD Nettles, hey Christine. So in about 15 minutes, I'm going to sign into that um, Jeremy Frommer speech. Hey guys. It's discouraging, some of these situs, but GTII is actually up on the day, and I think it looks good. No. Sorry, Candace? We're okay. I understand. I thank you. I feel badly when I misunderstand certain things, but I also get frustrated with myself when I overreact. Oh, we're missing Portugal versus Switzerland. Yeah, Brandon, I bought a tiny bit more. Brandon, I was thinking about it just now. So pick the scenario, Brandon, pick the scenario where Goldman Sachs and Wall Street decide to just do nothing. So everybody who doesn't sell switches over into the private company, and it's share for share. But what if twice as many shares show up as real shares? It would seem that the brokerage firms that took no action would be on the line for really high liability. That's one thing I thought of. The other thing is, I listened to Roller Pigeon, and I'll show you here in a second. I play this. I know that's something people are concerned with. I just don't. I'm sure the company filed everything correctly. So I don't think they're going to find a procedural reason to delay it. And I just really think it's too much risk for the brokerage firms, whether they get permission. Everybody else is doing it. There'll be at least one or two brokerage firms that say, I don't want to take that risk of owing my clients private shares of a company that could be worth $100 a share. I don't know. I just feel like, now, Brendan, the other side of the coin, why haven't brokerage firms bought MLTLP in already? I was thinking about that. Well, if FINRA hasn't put it on the, what is it called? The OTC corporate list, something like that. If FINRA hasn't noticed the brokerage firms about the approval for this distribution, and a brokerage firm prematurely buys in, it would seem like that would open the brokerage firm to legal liability as well. So I think the brokerage houses are kind of have their hands tied until FINRA actually gives them notice that this action is occurring and is approved. So that, to me, that's why the brokerage firms are not buying in yet, because there's legal liability. I can perceive, because maybe something happens and the distribution never happens, and then the lawyers say, hey, you shouldn't have bought us in. So I think to cover their rear ends, they're waiting till they get the notice from FINRA. But on the, as I just said, on the other end, why would any brokerage firm on its own take the risk of this going into a private company? I don't see that either. So I think the buy-in is going to come in a short period of time. Problem is, it might be after the 12th. It might be the 13th and the 14th. But anyway, I think the buy-in is going to, the buying is going to come. And then the only other question is there a way it can be delayed? I just don't know. I don't know. It's too much to think about. But then Brandon, I guess the other thing is the government somehow, or the DTCC could guarantee brokerage firms, indemnify brokerage firms against losses. I don't know. Cosmo is 50. All right, let's see. I don't want to run out of time to bring this guy up. I have the page already set. Click here to view webcast. Created. Should I ask a question? What about upstream? How come upstream's taking so long? Should I ask that one? I could ask about what Skinny Whale found. Anyway, I'm not going to ask a question. So we have Wall Street sorry, I got to move this. We have Wall Street webcasting going. But nothing happening yet. This is like listening, hey XX, this is like listening to Ham, the hamster. Arr, no upstream. Or DRS, I don't remember what DRS stands for. Reverse split. One squeeze. Hey, Alicia. I had a sandwich, a rather pedestrian sandwich. The brokers can't buy back shorts after 4 p.m. on the 12th. So the brokerage firms are precluded from doing the private transactions. So that's good information. Guys and gals. Yeah, it was close to ham and cheese. It had cheese. No, it didn't have cheese. It was like 3 pieces of salami and a chicken on a baguette. Oh, direct registering shares. Computer share, DRS, computer share. What, Pixie Bell? Is it really diving again? I'm astonished. Oh, direct registration. We used to call that DTC. Anyway, doesn't matter. Name changes, same game. MMTLP, is it under 4? Oh, 595. Coming back strongly. So, not to tell you I'm no genius. But 508, I bought some at 50. No, I bought it at 5.0775. That's what Mr. Bird said. I'm great. 6 now. Wow. See, I think Pixie Bell, I was just explaining, so you might have heard it. But I think if the system, just call it the system, decides to ignore this, and everybody convert, a lot of people convert into the private company, that doesn't solve the problem. So it's much better to buy in now. MMTLP FINRA just listed on the website. Jeff, woohoo, 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 woohoo. All right, so where do I go to find that? I go to FINRA, and I go down along the side where they give you a choice, the Schwasses, and you go to filing and reporting. No, maybe I'll just Google it. Oh, here it is. Events, filing and reporting, registration. Let's just see filing. I don't know where to find it quickly. I don't know where to find it. It's 7. That's the snapback from, that's the snapback of all snapbacks. So they approve it. I'm just going to go by MMTLP search. No results found. For investors, I'll go. God, it's a nightmare. I can't find it. All right, FINRA daily list. I'm on the website, and the stupid thing takes you all over the place. And if you're an idiot like me, oh, here it is, OTC data. All right, I got it now. Daily list additions. Thank you for whoever told me that. Additions. And it's not here. It's not here. Let's go to page 2. I see all right, additions. I don't see it. I'm on this page. Hey, Claire, I'm on this page. And I went to additions on the daily list. Oh, here, dividends distribution splits. How about if I go there? No, it's not there either. It's flying. Portugal's up 4. Matt, I'm going to block you now. From now on, I'm not listening to Matt. Oh, Lord. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Oh, OTC threshold. No, that's not the list I should be looking at. I'm on the daily list page. Tain't working. So, uh, well, I'm showing MMTLP at $9 right now, 9.20, 9.47, 9.45. Are you out of your mind? I doubt the covering started because the notice just went out. I bet the covering starts tomorrow. 9.50. No halts. That's right, Ahmed. Instead of go, we can yell sold. Wouldn't it be nice to make some profits? And then it goes, it's 9.58, 9.70 on the ask. That's a good point. You're not allowed to sell it until it settles. It's an interesting thing. They have all sorts of rules for the good guys. Steve, just so you think that you're not the only smart one, I bought some at $5.775. And Douglas Noon. I hope maybe I did. I find all the profits I need in the Old Testament. Very good. Very good. They got approval. FINRA approved the, I can't prove it to you because I can't effing find it. I'm on the FINRA page, but I can't. All right, it's 2 minutes. No more lollygagging. We're going to watch this. I know. I'm on it. See? I'm on it. And I'll hold it up. But right now, it seems to be nothing's happening. Hey la di la di la di. Hey la di. I'll refresh the page. Turn the page. Na, 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 na. Turn the page. It's still, I just refreshed, but it's still 3:19, so they won't turn it on till 3:20. I have experience in these sort of things, useless as it may be. Look, even if you don't own MMTLP, it's good for all of us. One, that if they cover, that'll be good for all of us. Two, we'll be able to see with our own eyes, I spy with my eyes, how a short squeeze works in real time. And two, there'll be money coming in. All right, it's 3:20. It shows, let me refresh the page. Wall Street Webcasting. Press the play button, refresh your page, switch to a different browser. Okay. I'll just start again. Oh, it looks like it still might be Greenland Technologies talking. So he might not have started yet. But I'm starting to get worried. I don't know how to make it happen. I'm here on created at the top. See? If you're experiencing any issues, please try the following. Press the play button. I did that. Refresh your page. Okay, I'll refresh it. Okay, I did that. Switch to a different browser. I can't do that. Oh, it says it'll begin shortly. It hasn't started yet. It hasn't started yet. It says it will begin shortly. Thank you, GTIILIVE World. Do we expect GTII to run before the end of the year? I don't expect or not expect, but it could. No, I think they must be running behind. Yeah, if just one goes, it'll show the it'll show that this concept we're in the middle of works. It has started. Okay? There it is.
Places, and was able to capitalize on that in the digital space. From keyword search optimization to targeting YouTube ads, we tested it all. On the digital side, content was only as valuable as the data it produced. How efficiently a company processes its proprietary and customers' needs and implements data-driven solutions, it defines success. As a company, we had content creators, but until we built our technology platform, Vocal, we did not have the data feedback loop needed to exponentially scale. Today, we are one of the most important platforms in the creative community, with over 1.5 million subscribed creators of all types and their audiences of nearly 1 billion people. As a creator-first platform, our primary revenues are driven by monthly subscriptions for services and products. Vocal is a SaaS platform for the creative community, providing a home base for creators to best monetize their content and discover a new audience. Soon we realized that we could apply our data to champion meaningful and authentic user-generated marketing campaigns. And we have worked with some amazing top-tier brands. But where we really shined was working with up-and-coming entrepreneurial brands, looking to reach a broader audience and find relatable storytellers. We had an edge in identifying and acquiring CPG brands that resonate with our creators and their audience. And after 4 years of battling on the OTC marketplace, we uplisted to the NASDAQ in September of 2020. After 2 years on the NASDAQ, we were finally creating growth at a multiple of our ad spend, and we were approaching cash flow break even. I have presented this story to folks like you at many conferences just like this. I've told that story that I just told you many times. It is a fundamentally strong story. But today I am here for a different reason. I'm here to tell you that there are significant technical reasons to buy our company created. Equal to the fundamentals, if not far more promising for our investors. Naked short selling is pervasive on Wall Street. And no small or micro cap company, many that have presented here today, can maintain their hard-fought gains in their stock price for long until something radically changes. I've only seen that happen a few times in my career. For many of you who are listening, it has been decades. We have watched, and worse, too many have turned a blind eye. I could not believe it myself in the beginning, but I do now, no question. Here's how it works. Let's say there's a buyer of 10,000 shares of Created at the market. The market maker fills it immediately. How or why that particular market maker executes your order, that's a broader conversation. But at this point, the market maker who sold you the 10,000 shares is in theory supposed to have carried out a locate and a bona fide borrow. Bona fide means real and genuine, but it is purposely ambiguous. Otherwise, they would have used the words real and genuine in the regulation. It ostensibly allows a market maker to maintain the short for as long as they can without the actual physical real and genuine borrow. The stock loan department, which again in theory is a separate department from market making, might still go ahead and charge interest to whichever fund they executed on behalf of, while the market maker profits off further trading. The reason all this is possible is because at the end of the day, all of them are beholden to the institution's central book. The central book is, in theory, supposed to bring balance to the broker-dealer's positions in transactions, from cash to securities. It is covered by the SEC's broker-dealer books and records rules. In worst-case scenarios, it is now my understanding that the central book informs the market-making desks that they have met the requirement to short, irrespective of the position, because in theory, it is a proprietary trade of the central book itself. Prop trading and stock loan businesses are two of the biggest revenue generators in the entire financial services industry, all at the expense of the retail investor. All at the expense of the shareholders, of the people investing in the companies presenting here today. And then there is spoofing. Spoofing is the behavior you see sometimes with market makers algorithmically trading amongst themselves, lowering the value of stocks. In doing so, they make money either in an institutional proprietary book or for the fund that the sell side shorted the stock on behalf of. And when it's time for that market maker to cover for various reasons, they just reach out to another firm, buy the 10,000 share position from them to cover. Now the new market maker is short, and the clock starts again. And that's why if you look at our stock, or many of the other stocks I'm talking about, you'll see all these intraday crosses of large shares of stocks from one market maker to another. I'm told that some fails and cross trades move around the globe from Canada to Hong Kong across dozens of countries. The whole system allows the stock loan groups to become, well, they can blame all sorts of logistical issues on why they failed to deliver and become irresponsible if ever asked. Every share they short after that first trade failed that is not borrowed is in theory creating counterfeit shares. You heard me, counterfeit shares. And the buyer has no way of knowing or understanding how this impacts them. Because if and when the financial firm is asked to deliver physical, it would be revealed that the central book may have even inadvertently created a synthetic float. This hurts publicly traded companies for no other reason other than greed. As far back as United Airlines at the turn of the century to GameStop and AMC more recently, the practice of naked shorting has wiped out the savings of many hardworking Americans.
Yes.
It has destroyed their pensions and eliminated their jobs. From pilots to bag handlers to grocers, technologists, and scientists working on life-saving medications, as you've heard about today from biotech companies. Naked short selling creates a deteriorating financing capability for the underlying company, and it helps drive the toxic lending environment that dominates the microcap space. And who pays the price? Unchecked, it can be a death sentence for a company, irrespective of the company's intrinsic value. I know it nearly killed my company. Here we are on the verge of 2023, and still no one in authority has fully addressed the issue. Over the last few decades, what was once a discreet handshake between a few stock loan departments has turned into an institutionalized, technology-driven money-making machine. And it does not matter that they get fined millions or even a few billion. They treat it as a line item. It's just another cost of doing business. As the electronic trading world exploded, stock loan regulation became archaic and literally could not keep pace as a business with the likes of technology platforms like Robinhood and E-Trade. I believe the exponential growth of hedge funds made it mathematically impossible for the banks to actually support the borrow demands over the last decade. The world markets collapsed in 2008, and by the time they were resuscitated by the government, technology had inserted itself systemically into the back office of the stock market. And within 10 years of that moment, 400 years of a business driven by commissions ended, and we started trading in fractions and decimals for monthly subscriptions.
Exactly.
Free trading.
Exactly.
Providing liquidity and balance sheet arbitrage became all the rage on Wall Street. Naked shorting became institutionalized. The loss of commissions was made up for in the lending departments or prop trading. Prop trading, the central book, became the biggest revenue generator in many of the biggest financial institutions around the world.
Bravo.
I want to be clear. I believe there are hedge funds that engage in naked shorting practices in our stock. I am directly engaged in battles with some of them. They would say differently, and given the opaqueness of the regulations, I'm sure it would be a hot debate. But the real culpability is with the system that fostered the funds. It's no different than the system that fostered Bernie Madoff. There is no longer a secret. There is enough evidence and technology surveillance algorithms to at least prove some of it. Go to sec.gov or buyins.net. Look at the facts, do your due diligence, and read or watch the attorneys who are fighting on the front line and what they have to say. Every CEO here at this...
They're turning him off. That's the CEO of CRTD. His name is Jeremy Mullins. They've turned him off. They're blocking this. I don't want to refresh it. Should I refresh it? He's the CEO of CRTD. It's not me. It's not my... I'll refresh it, but I think...
The market-making machines are responsive and driven by algorithms whose initial intention was to bring liquidity to the market, meaning fill the orders, fill them no matter what, fill it millions and millions of times. A stock literally could get 3, 5, 10 times short its actual issued and outstanding shares, which logically creates a massive squeeze when the company busts the shorts. We found out during the pandemic that giving people money is good for the markets. Tech stocks, which make up a significant portion of the S&P 500, soared. And with bond yields so low, investors didn't really have a more lucrative place to put their money. With the massive influx of global retail investors came increased demand for these lower valued stocks that are so easily manipulated. New buyers, spurred on by social media and the ability to work collectively, drove demand. And slowly, over the last 3 years, I believe that the exposure the institutions have on the short side, without bona fide borrows, may be enormous, irrespective of their intentions. Today, our company announces 3 initiatives to combat naked shorting abuse and create value for our shareholders.
They're about to buy back.
First, we have formed the CEO Block, an organization whose mission will be uniting the executives and shareholders of companies being abused by naked short sellers. As a block, we will approach the financial services industry. The website ceobloc.com will deliver the plain truth without concealment or embellishment. We have the financial backing and determination to succeed. We will use our proprietary data to target politicians and regulators through social platforms and other media distribution channels, and we will demand change. Second, I will personally be reaching out to the heads of legal and compliance groups at the major institutions and the market-making firms to discuss the behavior in our stock created. They are required to be responsive. As someone from their world, I do not fear them. I know what to ask and who to challenge, and I will distribute their responses to me transparently to all of you. Third, and most important, today we announced a letter of intent to sell 25% of our OG collection subsidiary, our media library, for $2.5 million, creating a $10 million plus valuation on one of our subsidiaries. The press release literally went out moments ago. This is ahead of our planned spin-off of the new company on the OTC marketplace. I expect the market to value the spin-off at a multiple of its pre-money value. I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to jumpstart the OG Collection's multiple business strategies, as well as advance its Web 3.0 plans. Additionally, we look forward to monetizing the hundreds of thousands of original images in our vast media library through sales and intellectual property-related transactions. But equally important to me is the tactical advantage that the spin-off of the OG Collection subsidiary provides as either a dividend or a new security for all of our created shareholders. Now, when I say all of our created shareholders, let me be clear. We intend on distributing the majority of the new public company only to issued shares of record. Let's assume hypothetically that there are well over 100 million shares naked short. If every shareholder loaned all their shares out, it would require buying multiples of our float to cover the demand. If all the shareholders requested delivery of the new OG Collection spinoff, there simply would not be enough shares in the new company for all the potential counterfeit shares to be filled. In theory, created stock should move significantly higher on these technicals. We will have trapped the naked short sellers in 2 stocks when it was their intention to have abused us in 1. I want to thank you all for listening today. Anybody who has questions on any
I don't know why they keep stopping him. It stopped. It stopped. So what do you think of that, guys? So my guess is whoever said the stock is going down, my guess is they announced whatever the news story is, so I'll look it up. And the shorts have these algorithms or whatever. As soon as news comes out, sell, sell, sell. I would buy CRTD. You're going to get a you're going to get a distribution of, I don't know, I got to be careful. He said 25% of the 10 million, but he said that that's an addition. Yeah, it does. You know what I think happened, Matt? I think maybe so many of us called in, we overwhelmed it. Could be the catalyst. All right, MMTLP is backing off. MMTLP went as high as 970, and now it's 869. What goes on with these short sellers' heads? They think we have no choice, just keep short selling. GTII 97.95, up 6 cents, 1 million shares. By the way, when he meets with those companies, he's going to talk about Finger. He's going to talk about GTII. I guarantee you. CNLV, flat. COSM. I can't tell if it's up or down. I wrote it down at lunch. It was 45.9. It's now 47.36, so it's up from lunchtime. CRTD, 90, 92, 91. Jumped or dumped? Smoke screen. Is Smoke Screen are you the guy on did you give a talk in your car ranting? It was Smokes. It was something Smokes. Either way, great. I appreciate your comment. Finger 414. Nothing yet. MMTLP. Oh, I'll give you MMAT. 140. It was just a C. It didn't have a K. At least that's how I heard it. At least that's how I heard it. CEO block, no K. But maybe I'm wrong. Steve Mertz did. Let's see. I think it's CEO block with a C. Like a communist block. Not a cock block, but I don't know. Let me look. Yeah, I'm right. There it is. CEO block, like the like a block of nations. Okay, I think that's awesome. You're the best, Matt. Gracias, mi amore. I guess the mi amor is amor is masculine, amore is female. See how quick I am? You just are amazed at how quickly I can. Dave Smith. Now we need enough over the weekend for upstream. I'm not falling for that one. I'm not falling for that little girls. Am I glad to see you? That is amazing, guys. That is amazing. I think it's just absolutely amazing. And I'm going to be the first on my block to provide my email. Yeah, my love, but why isn't it amore instead of amor? That's all I was wondering. And I think I figured it out. But I might not have. That's right, Nick. Okay, I don't know if that's FUD or real question, but I'll treat it as a real question because it's not a bad question. Where can I find the answer? Is CRTD a NASDAQ? No. Well, let's do it on Yahoo. Finance. CRTD. Created is 98 cents, but that I know that's delayed. I know it's already down a bit, you're saying. But at 28 minutes ago, they made this announcement. And I would suggest to you that what happens with these short hedge fund sellers that he's talking about is just as soon as news comes out, they have it computerized to sell because they want you and the rest of the market. Well, the thing I read to you earlier said that they want to hide their volume when news comes out. But I think they want the rest of the market, you to think, oh, that's bad news. That news doesn't mean anything. But look what the mic drop, as one of you guys said. He said, today announced it has entered into a letter of intent with an outside party for the sale of 25% of the equity interests in OG Collection with some of the most iconic publications and people of the 20th century. It's called Dorado Goose LLC, Puerto Rico. So for $2.5 million, it gives a pre-money valuation of $7.5 million to the OG Collection, $10 million afterward. So the record date is going to, I'm going to stop reading that. You got the point. But now I want to show you, if I can find his news that they announced. Here it goes. 2 months ago. Created updates market on planned spinoff of its physical media library. Okay? So this is 2 months ago. It released an investor deck, which I'll show you, in preparation for spinning off its media archive, intellectual property, and other assets into a separately traded OTCQB stock. It's called the OG Collection. So, what just happened? They were going to spin off this OG Collection into a separate stock, which you'll get. You'll get it, unless it squeezes beforehand. And then, of course, the boo birds out there could say, oh, that's not worth anything. Well, they just sold a quarter of it that values it at $10 million. So it's a really smart move. That's right, Buck. Thought leaders are getting together. 8 o'clock. Roger, my sister would like that, even though she doesn't speak that way. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. All them other genders are from Uranus. The planet. Where's the computer, Ahmed? Where's the computer that messes with the stock market price? the biggest hedge funds have computers doing the trading, and they have young MIT brainiacs come in and create the programs. And a lot of the inputs, news, if you see the word Trump in the news, you know, it's increased by 50%. Maybe that's a reason to sell stocks. Or if you see war, or if you see just on a specific stock, a news comes out. So I'm not a computer guy, but these are supercomputers, and they've replaced traders, and they trade on. That's why all these charts work so accurately on Fibonacci, because they use it, and it's the pivot points. That's it, Roger. Ham is the hero. Ham is the hero. So tell me what is happening. I haven't seen them do that. I'm down there. I'm not talking about like one big computer in the middle of a room. I'm saying each hedge fund has its own strategies. Now, if they have a couple of smart people staring at the screen all day, or 30 of them, they don't need a computer. Kurt Kramer doesn't need a computer. He's got a bunch of people in that room that just do it human touch, but it's the same effect. I don't know. I'd like to hear from you on that, because I'd love to learn how the trading is done. Yeah, Lou, don't worry. They just didn't want it to run away. The computer in the room. That's good. I would go. Well, one thing is you can give your email on CEO Block. The other is he's on Twitter. You haven't seen it thrown. I see. I misunderstood what you were. You guys must think I'm one of the most disjointed. I jump in, jump out. All right, let's check some closing prices. Well, it's 8 minutes to go. God, they've got MMTLP off the highs. It's 818. Well, with a C. Candace, with a C, like a energy block, or like the communist block of nations, or you know, the third world block. Just with a C, not with a K. Well, let's see some of these trading. MMTLP is up $1 at 810. I'll do MMAT, which I ignored. It's up 24 cents at 195. Finger is 407, up 7. It's a web. There it is. CEO Block. CRTD is now only 93 cents. It was as high as 114. That is just organized selling, and I think it'll recover. The stock is telling you where it wants to go. That's in my words. So this pullback is an opportunity to add to your positions. If that's what you so desire, I can't give advice. CLNV, flat. LGIQ, my new addition to our list, up 0.0077, 3877. 0.3877. Okay, so CRTD. Yeah, don't FOMO. But it might be a time to, while it pulls back, 90, it's basically 90 and 93 cents. GTII, yeah, logic, LGIQ, I said, KYP, 0.95, LGIQ. Let me see if I have, this guy, KYP, small cap investing. He just signed up on Twitter, but he talks about logic, which gets me, I know him and I trust him. Logic, digital marketing co. with extreme divergence between low market cap of $15 million versus a string of major positive steps already publicly announced. There's the CEO is buying the stock. They have merger agreements, a huge new customer, and they have projected 2023 sales of 100 million. This is from Small Cap Investing on Twitter. And notice he copies GTII, CRTD, and Finger. 16 hours ago, he said LGIQ is acting better, buyers recognizing deep value, extremely low price to sales valuation, and reflecting that every day we get closer to 2 transformational mergers which will unlock value. Just as GoLogic spin out in early 2022 unlocked 100 million. Early this year, they spun out, it was actually at the end of last year, but it was effective early this year. They spun out their primarily their Southeast Asia market product, but it was, I also think, Nigeria. Anyway, they spun it out to shareholders. It's worth 100 million. All right, let me just see the next thing on logic. So 21 hours ago, Small Cap Investing wrote, recap of the positives. Let me see how GTII is closing. 96 cents, up 0.045. And CRTD, it's actually down, not down on the day, but down from the highs. It's 90 cents, 0.0749, 90 cents. And MMTLP is 825, up 114. GTII is 95 cents. So anyway, small cap investing goes on with logic, LGIQ. The positives: 1, digital marketing co. valued at 15% of 2023 revenue. Most comparable companies sell for multiples of revenue. 2 merger transactions on the tape with a combined value of $2 to $3 a share. They should close within 60 days. 3, the CEO bought at 35 cents in September. 3 days ago, he wrote, insiders have the best window into a company, right? Don't forget, CEO Brent Swen bought 178,000 more shares at 35 cents. That's a big vote of confidence. We're getting nearer to both deals closing, and the price is the same. 4 days ago, December 1, countdown begins for 2 transformational M&A events anticipated over the next 60 days. Data Logic merger with Abri SPAC, a SPAC. That's what I was looking for while I'm reading this. Followed by roll-up acquisitions during 2023 and Private Co. with a $250 million valuation. Both are near-term events. 4 days ago, 2 merger transactions already on tape, waiting for $4 to go effective for waiting for S4 to go effective for the Abri SPAC merger with Data Logic Division. But don't forget about the acquisition of Wealth Management Co. with $250 million valuation. That's 50 cents per share. This SPAC is all right, just 2 more of these. So 5 days ago, Small Cap Investing said about Logic, how is it possible for a tech company to sell for 15% of 2023 sales, have insider buying, 2 mergers on the tape that should be worth $2 to $3 per share, and it sells for, in this case, 30 cents, only because the seller is sitting on the stock? Question mark. What happens when the seller is done? Double question mark. GTIICRTD finger. He also said the valuation gap between the current market cap of 15 million and the projected 2023 sales of 100 million creates an opportunity and transformational merger transactions to unlock this value are publicly announced and should close within the next 90 days. He since has said 60. 6 days ago, current market cap 15 million, extremely undervalued in light of the projected in recent S4 filing, 2023 revenue of 100 million. Digital market companies trade at multiples of revenue, not 15% of revenue, not 0.15 multiple. They trade in whole number multiples. After the SPAC merger, more acquisitions are expected in 2023. All right, so last one. I know you're ready for me to finish. 6 days ago, 2 merger announcement on tape, 9/9. Data Logic Division to list on NASDAQ via a merger with the SPAC. And then on 11/18, Logic signs an LOI to acquire a company with a valuation of $220 million. Combined value of the transactions could be $3 versus the existing 30 cents. And then the last thing he wrote on when he signed up, November, I think he meant to say October 28th. No, I guess November 28th. Logic, fast-growing tech company, insider ownership and recent buying, announced merger transactions, but will launch 2 new publicly traded companies. Share prices being held down by hedge fund stock manipulation and shorting. Sound familiar? All right. So, PYT, that's the stock, Logic, LGIQ. Yeah, Maestro. I will tell you how you can get it. So just pay attention to me for just a second. Go to hang on. I'll give you well, see, that doesn't help you. So let me show you how to do it. If you go to Google and just put I totally misspelled it. I gotta respell disruptive. So you put in disruptive. This is your Google. Disruptive Conference, New York City. It'll come up, Disruptive Conference, New York City, 2022. You hit that. And then there's a global newswire article, RH Capital to host 2022 Disruptive Growth Conference in NYC. Hit that. And then you come to the news story and see on the first sentence, we'll host the 2022 Disruptive Growth Conference. Hit that blue button. That takes you to a MeetMax page, which says RHK 2022 Disruptive Growth Conference. Pull down just slightly, and you see click here for agenda, click here to view webcast. Click here for webcast. And it'll come down to created. See created? Just hit it.
Is a technology company which is focused on providing economic opportunities for creators. Allow me to introduce Chairman and CEO Jeremy Fromer.
So that's how you do it. Were you impressed that I was able to figure it out? Hey, everybody. So let's see, I saw something. What stock is it that we need? 8 o'clock, Alicia, so I'll come on for that. 8 p.m. Billy boy, Billy boy. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Yo, da, 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 da. All right, Michael, I wanted to respond to that. Lou said, get into the COS, I'm at 18, it's 50 cents. How is that a pump and dump? I agree with you on that. He gave people a chance to get in at 18 or 20 cents. All right, then there's something else. FINRA finally approved. Exactly, that's awesome. Alicia, Billy is the best. I think Ham is going to have a call at 8 o'clock. See, I think Alicia is the best. I'm even willing to wear lipstick. Let me take that off. Amy, Ham is going to have his normal call at 8 o'clock, and that's... I think that's... was that Steve Martin? Somebody said, how to make $1 million? Start with 10 million? That's basically what you said, DR. Yeah, he said GTII when it was 60. The lipstick is back. It's just to, you know what the difference, did I already tell you that, Joe? The difference between having a dog and a girlfriend is when you, or a wife, the difference between having a dog and a wife, when you come home smelling like another dog, your dog is interested. There was another question I saw here that I wanted to respond to. Oh, I know what it was. Somebody said they were confused. What stock is it? What song is it we all need to hear? What song is it you all want to hear? So I'm not going to answer that, and dogs don't talk back. Okay, I'm going to do a, I don't know how it can do it'd be so confusing to do a poll, wouldn't it? And okay, I'm going to limit my answer to your question. Which stock is it we need? What song is it y'all want to hear? Or as Phil Graham said from Texas, he was the senator of Texas. Someone asked him, Senator Graham, how many guns do you own? I have more guns than I need and fewer guns than I want. I didn't much like Phil Graham. All right, so here are the stocks. Finger, CRTD, that's all right. COSM, GTII, MMTLP. Maybe I should ask people, I forget who asked the question, but what stock do we need? I'll answer it and we'll get feedback from everybody else. I'm going to answer this in the short run, not long run. And by short run, I'm going to say by Wednesday next week. So 1 week time frame, My number one stock to be in for a 1 week time frame is this. I'm talking about trading. I'm not talking about getting out of anything. Not talking about getting out of GTII. But I think this stock has the potential to squeeze within 1 week. And I'm still going to go, I'm going to throw this one in here because I warn you that at any time it can squeeze. But I'll go with this one second because at any time it can squeeze. And then based on valuation, this is a struggle, which one to put first. The two Lind partner twins. I'm going to say that the strength showed up in CRTD. So I'm going to go with CRTD. But closely related at $4 is Finger, because it's the Lynn partner shorter. And I would put COSM last on those 5 stocks. All right, so we'll get feedback. All right, MMAT is cheaper. That's a good point. MMAT is $2, and it could really run. Finger will run last. CRTD will run first and then Finger. Okay. MMT. Candace, I did, but I was meaning from what the CEO was saying. Okay, from the CEO, it's that stock. He's the CEO of that stock. I think I know that's right. It's the percentages on the money, Matt. Okay, Cryptic Trader goes MMTLP, MMAT, CRTD, GTII, CLNV, COSM. Al Jolie goes Elvis. Raul says MMTLP, MMAT, COSM, GTII. Michael says FUD. All right, here's Steve Mertz, the smart trader, I think. MMTLP, then MMAT, GTII, CRTD, Finger, and COSM. Okay. Who is Ham? He doesn't have a YouTube channel, Timothy, but he's on Bad Company. There ain't no denying. CRTD Fahad says first, then GTII. Ham, that's good, I think. Timothy, Ham is, there it is, right there, Ham. At Ham Short Killer. At Ham Short Killer. Logic, I think, is, I'm going to write that down. I got to put it in my, I think Logic is a great stock to buy. Logic. But I don't think it'll be a short, remember my parameter here was 1 week. But I think if you expanded the time frame to January, I think Logic would be right up there, because I think Logic, and I'll try to do a short video on it because there's a lot of moving parts. But I think Logic, they've got a couple of steps, but I think Logic could be an 8 to 12x within 6 months, but maybe the 8 part of it in the first quarter next year. And frankly, the guy I trust the most on it sees it as possibly a $10 stock by the end of next year. But that's a sensible stock to buy. That's not like hopping from one short squeeze to the other short squeeze. But the valuation right now is like a short squeeze. It should be trading I think for $3.50 a share, and I didn't even see where it closed. LGIQ closed at 39.5, and the ask of 57. So, yeah, I would. Aunt Maz, you are probably an Italian movie star. That's like Paul Newman in that movie. He said, "I grow on people. I'll grow on you." Yeah, the squeezes, Raul. I actually think if you get one, you know, you have a choice. You can go all into the next one, or you have, you know, you have a few stock, you know, you have a few stocks. In the case of LGIQ, it was one of my goals, but the GTII has taken so long. It was one of my goals to buy a lot of that stock by the end of this year, out of the money that's squozen, squiggled. The money that resulted from a squeeze in GTII, but it hasn't happened yet. But it's the price is attractive, so that's why. You look like Mel Gibson, Russell Crowe, and Eddie Vedder. I hope you have the voice of Russell Crowe, but when you sing, you sound like Eddie Vedder, and you have the creativity of Eddie Vedder and the blue eyes of Mel Gibson. Mel made a really bad mistake, but he's actually as he's aged, he's a pretty good actor, and he's a good director. How high MMTLP? I just had a mini stroke. He looks like Brad Pitt. I will, Tariq. I'll do a video on logic. It's not legal, Elric, and it doesn't have a positive income. But I will, Tariq. So much money goes to politicians, they look the other way and they get all confused. And in an era of cheap, free money, which has been happening for the last decade, since the George Bush financial crisis and the Barack Obama easy money, you sound like Tony Soprano. So you know a guy. You know a guy. The benefit, and the CEO was just talking about that, Jeremy, but I think the benefit of the shorting is that it's stripping. You know what I really think it is? When I gave that long-winded example of the one share of stock and all of these counterfeit shares, this one share of stock is your grandmother's account. These shares are fake, but they represent the cash you put in. So you got your grandmother's account. It gets leveraged up by all these fake shares, and then you put in more cash. And it's so the banks, which everyone wants to work for, everyone goes to school for, they give money to the politicians, everyone's daughter, Chelsea wants to marry an overpaid wanker, even if he's unsuccessful. So it's a way of taking your grandmother's stock account and turning it into many multiples of stock without doing any hard work. There's no hard work. And so you all of a sudden are getting 20% profit on 2 dozen of grandmother's account. And then you're getting stock loan on all these. You're getting the benefit of stock loan on all these. You're getting fees just to have the assets under management, all based on your grandmother's account. It's leverage writ large. It's leverage on a grand scale. So it helps the banks. That's what it does. And if you want to get even further, to the edge of saying something that is controversial, it's almost like the elites are using the Fed to do so by expanding the money. They're stripping the value out of your grandmother's account and your accounts, and they're taking the assets for themselves before the whole thing collapses. But that last bit borders on insanity. Well, she's welcome. Trump Organization found guilty on all counts of criminal tax fraud. Wow. They don't want him to run. They don't want him to run. That's a great statement about Mel Gibson. Bessa H. That really is. The crimes against children belong in a special box somewhere. Those people. I only respond, well, wow. MMTP was down 28%, closed up 16 after the FINRA lesson, 44% move. That's really on a where to close at 8, so 44%. That's a pretty significant move on that stock. Bye, cryptic trader. Aunt Maz, don't get Alicia mad at you. Money is for nothing. Oh, that's the question I was looking for. Newfie. How high will MMTLP go? The roller pigeon, here, I'll show you her site. I'll show you her site. Let's see where if there's trade after hours trading in MMTLP. No. Okay, let me show you her site. If I can find it. So if I go to history, here. In this one, this is the one I was listening to.
Hey, it's me again. Today's date is...
She doesn't do this in
6th,
person.
2022.
But her name is
Tuesday.
Bird Lady Roller
Normally,
Pigeons.
you would see me in my classroom.
She made a projection using a very complicated analysis of light waves and physics, and then a formula that's beyond my ken. Really, I didn't even know what some of the symbols in the formula meant. But she came up with a price target around $2,800. And earlier I showed there's a Fibonacci number somewhere around 2,586, something like that. So that's good enough for me. For somebody to come up with a really complicated analysis of how high a stock could go, and she has a high number for naked shorts. I will admit that. She has a high number. For her number to match relatively closely to a Fibonacci. And you're going to say, well, what does Fibonacci have to do with it? Well, really nothing, except Fibonacci noticed and people noticed that when large group of numbers like cells or stones or birds or fish or galaxies in a universe. They all line up on this Fibonacci sequence numbers. So it's my idea, not having any other thing to go on, that there's going to be a large enough group of people making decisions that perhaps those decisions will pattern themselves around a Fibonacci sequence. So anyway, that you can buy that or not, but her number is something like 2,800, and I would say 2,500 would be sort of a target that I think has above odds of happening in a spike. But it could go a lot higher. This could be a massive problem for brokerage firms. And if a brokerage firm would rather get this off their books than let it go into the private company, you know, the thing could go to $10,000. I think GTII can go to 2,500 too, but only in a spike. I don't think GTII is going to go to 2,500 based on, you know, just normal high demand. There has to be a short covering spike. In fact, in that case, I think it could go a lot higher. I didn't know she did oil stocks until someone told me today. I do oil stocks, so I'm going to have to call out to her. Let's see. Johnny, I heard how to pronounce your name on All Things. It was on Yellowstone. The reporter's name was Nguyen? Anyway, I apologize if Johnny Nguyen, if I got it wrong. CRT squeeze first, GTI then finger. Well, I think GTII easily could be the first one to go. Easily, and we'll hear it from Ham. But what's funny is I think MMTLP, we're talking about a short squeeze by Monday. So that just clicks in my eye because that's the record date, December 12th. Now, and you know, things can still happen, but SEC approved it, FINRA approved it. So I'm interested in watching this. I have a small position. So I'm not suggesting getting out of GTII and going into this. I'm just saying as a little bit on the side there, MMTLP. That we'll know about by next week, Wednesday of next week. Done and dusted by Wednesday. So that's there. But then you've got this three horsemen. You got the three ham hocks. And because Jeremy is in New York as CEO of CRTD, you have to give this one the best odds of having someone start buying into it. It's got, I'm just going to give you round numbers. It's got 30 million shares outstanding, and its float is 350. Its short position is 330 to 350 million shares. Massive. And it's the Lind Partners. Now, counterbalancing it, as Skinny Whale pointed out, I have to look into it, there might be a shelf offering on this for 100. I think she said that the filing wanted to expand shares to 1.5 billion, which in and of itself isn't bad. But then I think she said there was a proposed reverse stock split. So anyway, there's a couple of things there, but you just heard the guy talk. You just heard the guy talk. This guy is going to fight, and the benefit is going to accrue to CRTD shareholders. But Lind Partners also shorted in the span of about 3 weeks, 100 million shares of Finger, and over the last 5 or 6 weeks, another 10 million, and it might be some of their friends. So Finger now has 115 million in naked shorts versus an effective float, because a lot of the shares that are in the float are people that hold them in their desk or at home or in China. Estimated at around 5 million effective float. The negatives on Finger are its NASDAQ, it's got put and calls, and it might be in the middle of a legal battle. But it's a great story. Finger has top-up cards in China that are just, the revenue is just expanding at a massive rate now that they have money. 2, they are big data. And big data leads to big insurance company contracts, for example, life insurance, automobile insurance, fire insurance, anything that tracks human behavior by the telephone. And then they got the warranties on Chinese mobile phones. So this is a cash flow cow. So anyway, it's the Lind Partners. These two are the Lind Partners. Now, the investors in these two, and the main movers, there's a 10% buyer in Finger, remember, that was announced. These investors are here. They're here. And then GTII is on the forefront of every single trap and trick to fight short sellers. So in my opinion, these are all going to go at the same time. All 3 of these will go at the same time. Same time. And then that's basically answers that question. Keith said it. Remember, if the same shorts are in MMTLP and CRTD and Finger or GTI, one or all can run along with MMTLP. They can all. Oh, that's a good point, actually, Keith. The margin calls at prime brokers for MMTLP will cause the margin calls all of a sudden to raise the capital requirements in the other accounts that are short. That'll have a knock-on effect. You're absolutely right. Wow, explain that, Donk 102874. CRTD and GTII have the same MACD formation. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Get HNRC, Hillary Rodham Clinton before 16th. I don't know what that is. HNRC, it's a stock, I guess. Wow, Brandon, on AMC. I wish, you know what I wish? I wish Finger would have an announcement like tomorrow or this week. And, well, Aunt Ma's, yeah, that was Sarah. Oh, it's a different spelling. It's different spelling. Nguyen. So it's a different spelling. Ham call is at 8. That I know, Keith, tonight. So tomorrow is the 7th, Pearl Harbor Day. Torah. Maybe that's our omen. Torah. Maybe tomorrow is MMTLP. HNRC by the 14th. I don't know what it means to settle before the 16th. HNRC. I guess I can Google it. I mean, I can, HNRC. Showing my ignorance. HNRC. Houston Natural Resources. So buy it by the 14th to settle by the 16th. All right, I'm writing that down. I have a feeling that's good advice. Do you know when? Do I have a working number for GTII? If you mean, are you talking about, yeah, if you mean short position, my working number on the short position for GTII is 215,000 shares. If you mean how high it can go in a squeeze, I would have to temper my numbers now. But if the squeeze happened tomorrow, I would probably use, $1,000 as my target. But it really shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't matter. I expect that GTII is not going to squeeze from $1. I think it's going to squeeze from $5 or $10. So in a spike, I think it could go to 5,000 in a spike. Oh, the phone number for GTII? I assume it's on their website. Wow, you get $101.75 if you buy them before the 16th. Pit Lolly Grower. I'll look. I wrote it down. I wanna check out that one. Tip ranks. Is that news on? Oh, HNRC declares. Okay. 1-800-SCREW-ME. Retail, I'm afraid all we have done is awoken a sleeping giant. That was out of the movie Tora. And not only is retail the sleeping giant, if we somewhat stay together, I think the anyway, I leave that's yet. America, you start today and do your best to move forward. But it's also the consciousness. I'm amazed how many people now know what's going on. You guys know it. And now this CEO knows it. Do you know I work with CEOs? I work with tons of CEOs. None of them know it. This guy knew it. That's why you heard me in the background going, bravo, bravo. It's consciousness. It's moving around. It's not going to last much longer. The CEO block, like communist block. So it's BLOC. Butthead. Butthead. Guys, I think you all are going to change the financial system. Hey, Councilor Murray. Councilor Murray, my summary on that news is they had previously announced that they were going to distribute into a separate company the assets. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Anyway, they have a certain block of assets that it's a collection OC collection or something, OD collection. They're going to put into a new company and distribute to shareholders. They claim, or they claimed, that it was worth $10 million. But I'm sure this CEO was thinking ahead, and he's saying, well, the fudsters are going to say, oh, it's not worth that much. So they actually got a buyer, and that's what he announced today. They got a private buyer to buy 25% of the whatever it is, OD collection, for $2.5 million. So now you have a verifiable valuation of what the entire company is worth. And he didn't say it, but it would be great if he distributed that on some sort of blockchain. But right now the plan is he's going to distribute it as I assume as a dividend. Shares, separate company that'll be trading on the over-counter market. And the whole goal is to catch out the shorts. And Kyle V. Horner, anything about the upstream application? Yes, I'm sure there is, but I'm not going to talk about it. At least not today. I already spent my. I know. Did you guys ever see the movie? Did you ever see the movie Clockwise? I think I already played this once, but it's a great movie. And it's very funny. John Cleese is in it, and he's a headmaster at a proper English, what do they call those schools over there? Anyway, a private school in England is a public school here, and I just can't remember. But anyway, he is the headmaster, and he's been selected to give a speech at the headmaster's conference, and this is a great honor for this little school. So he begins his journey very prim and proper to go to the headmasters, but everything goes wrong. Here's an example. It's a very trains, planes, and automobiles type movie. Of course, this video that it said, I can't watch it. So it starts, he misses his train as a headmaster, and then he borrows the car, and he picks up his student Laura, and Laura's driving, I guess, and she picks him up, and he demands that she pull over on the highway when he finds out that she doesn't have a driver's license. And as an example, he says, that's the difference between you and I, Laura. I have a license to drive and you don't. And as he backs up, he crashes into a police car. And it's that kind of movie. It goes on and on like that. So they end up in a farmer's field. They were hoping to get a tractor to help them. They end up in some sort of a monk's retreat, and they have to get to this headmaster's conference on time, and that's the whole tension of the movie. So there's a scene in there that obviously someone else is It's only 9 seconds.
It's not the despair, Laura. I can stand the despair. It's the hope.
It's not the despair, Laura. I can stand the despair. It's the hope. And that's what's going on with us. We can deal with the losses. It's just the hope. Sorry, Christy R. I know there's so many different stocks talking about. I think that MMTLP and let me just see if I can find the confirmation. The reason I brought up my target is because I found confirmation from Bird Lady Roller Pigeons, and her target, maybe I need to subscribe. I never subscribed to her. If I subscribe to her,
but there are teams of lawyers handling this.
I don't know how do I subscribe.
But the SEC has approved this.
I'll find her other videos. But anyway, her
Judgment Day is inevitable, and the price. The only way that the shorts have access.
I don't know how to
Is
subscribe.
the price of MMTLP.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Her target, she came up with, and maybe I'll have it ready for tomorrow. She had a very complicated way of getting it using physics and light pipes and formulae that I didn't understand. But it was around 2,800 a share. My target was the Fibonacci number, which is around 2,500. So yes, 2,500 is my target for MMTLP. And it could go a lot higher. But remember, I'm not saying hold all your stock till you gets there. Don't try to sell everything at one price and you don't get out something. I'm selling one, my kids, for more. I'll take one. I'll take the one that we have to negotiate a price. What's the float on GTII? Yeah, so is that a problem, Carrick? Is that a problem? All right, Christy. I'm not sure which would be awesome, but I'll do it. I'll do the things that I said I hope I'll do. I had a boss. Really, I did. No, I had a boss, and he'd always give me the same advice. We'd be down at the bottom line, and he would always go down for drinks at the bottom line. But he stopped, and he drove home in his Jaguar to Chevy Chase, Maryland, and probably continued drinking. But he was a smoker. He always had a cigarette in his mouth. He's one of those guys that always dressed the exact same way, which was, I think, intentionally. He dressed well, but it was so that you could count on him. He gave the image of stability. But he'd always say to me, Billy, always do what you say you're going to do. And I'll try to do what I said. Oh, I know, I did say that. I saw that. Thank you very much, Matt Clarich. Is that for, what did you joke about with me before? I can't even remember. What's your question? Wait a minute. Cleric had the same question I have. Nothing but the best. It's not a problem long term, but short term it could be a problem. I know, Brandy. It's a lot of stocks. The one I would focus on is GTII, I wouldn't blame you for also focusing on CRTD. That would be for the squeezes. That would be for the squeezes. The rest could squeeze, but I would do those on the margin. I know, Torch, and I'm not totally responding to you because I can't remember the loose end. I think it was short sellers who listed MMTLP to try to get more greedy and sell more. And I think they set their own, they're being hoist on their own petard in a way. I know, you guys waited over 2 years. Yeah, I think GTII is definitely going to run, in my judgment, in my opinion. It's better. It's a better story today than it was before the sell-off. Yeah, MMTLP, that's the beauty of MMTLP for all of you millennials. You don't have to wait very long. It'll be over with by next Wednesday or Thursday. Oh, I see. Nothing but the best. I think if you get into NextBridge, you're right. You do not know how long a private company is going to remain private, and so your money's tied up. But I think because of oil prices, because a lot of the assets that were on the bank's books are gone now, because a lot of hedge funds have put money together to go into the oil business, because some of the big majors and independents have to maintain barrels on their balance sheet. They have to have reserves to borrow money, to raise money in Wall Street. I have a feeling that, and this Torchlight asset, the Oro Grande and the Hazel, have been out there for a long time. I have a feeling that 3.5 billion barrels of oil, whichever the 4 P's you give it, is, proven, probable, possible, and prospective, is going to have quite a siren call to an acquirer. So I wouldn't be surprised that there could be a public company acquiring it. Of course, it could be acquired by a private company. As a private company, you would get cash. As a public company, you might get stock in a public company like Exxon. The news on MMTLP is that FINRA approved that's the wrong word. FINRA has put it on their list that leads to notifying all the brokerage firms of the corporate action. That was the news today. Man, Mark, you got 2,000 shares? Huh? I'm jealous. Oh, that question. The reason the Kramers have been getting away with it for so long is it's so systematic. And I think as a system, I talked about it earlier, so I won't go into it again. But I think as a system, the powers that be in the marketplace have kind of created a fractional reserve security system, or a fractional reserve custodial system anyway, based on the premise that only 5% or so of people are ever going to ask for their real shares anyway. So no one will notice that we broke the law. I think when the brokerage firms moved their risk desks out of the brokerage firms so they could become banks when you bailed them out, a lot of those brainiacs, or so-called smart people, went out and opened hedge funds. Well, to get the trading business from those hedge funds, I think the brokerage firms set up prime brokerages, or already had them. I think they looked the other way on a lot of things. Goldman Sachs invented the F3 key. So all you have to do when you enter an order to a market maker is say, yeah, sure, we we did our work. We reasonably expect that we're going to locate the shares. And then the market maker says, oh, good enough with me. You said you're going to get them. Good enough with me. And for me, and then the prime brokers just look the other way. And the reason they do it, they expand their assets under management. They expand their trading commissions. They expand their fees from lending. They expand their stock loan and their margin interests. They, in a very ironic way, they destroy the ability of the over-the-counter markets to be a fertile place to start companies. Apple started in its garage. They take that away with this naked short selling that they help. So how that helps the big banks? It's only their chosen funnels that give the blessing to startups. So they're in Palo Alto, Chicago, New York, maybe a few other places. And so you get whoever runs Facebook, whoever runs Apple, whoever runs Amazon, whoever runs Twitter, I can't remember all the names right now. They go start a little company with seed money from first they had family, but then they get from a hedge fund. The hedge fund then walks and the banks walk it up the valuation ladder. And by the time retail investors see it, it's the value, it's stuffed in your IRA as an IPO at the high values. And so my point is, by destroying the over-the-counter markets as a place to raise capital for companies, Wall Street's four main banks and a few of their hedge fund buddies and VC firms become the source of capital for these small companies. They destroy many, but some work brilliantly. But they get all those fees, and they manage the valuation. They manage the IPOs. And it's a way of guaranteeing that they get that revenue as well. They don't have to compete with the over-the-counter market. So I think I'm answering the question, why did it happen all this time? On top of that, you have lawyers that argue the meaning of is and don't really care about right and wrong. And so, for example, in the Kramer's office, there's a lawyer, Richard Nadich. I assume he's the one. They sign a letter to the prime broker and to the market making saying, well, we, Power Up Lending, or whatever the name of the LLC they're using, reasonably believes they will be able to get, because we did this convertible note with GTII. And so that letter's there. So everyone covers enough, and they don't dig too deep, so they can keep the commission flow, the order flow, the interest rate flow, the money stream going without doing too much work. The hardest part is the work to bring in the assets. And if you can just expand assets with fictitious shares, it just helps everybody all around. And so how they got away with it, in 2013, they settled with the SEC on a case with the Laidlaw Energy, and they agreed they said, we don't admit we did anything wrong. But the SEC said that you violated this, this, and this, and under the bad actor rule, you're now a bad actor. And they gave them a cease and desist order, don't ever do it again. Well, of course, they keep doing it. The SEC wants to just get quick solutions and pat themselves on the back. They want a job with these hedge funds. So, and Gary Gensler wants to see out the rest of his life on a directorship of Citadel or something. So Kurt Kramer signs this, and he pays a $1.3 million fee, 2013, what is that? Almost a decade ago, and says he'll never do it again. Gets a slap on the wrist. Well, guess what? It was Laidlaw Energy. He sold billions and billions of shares, and there was another company in there as well. Even if you assume a penny a share, the money he saved by not paying his taxes, because that's the other thing. They drive the stocks down so low, there are no closing transactions. They take the money out. They don't pay taxes on the gains. The money he saves from not paying taxes is much more than the penalty he paid to the SEC. And in the case of Kurt Kramer, as far as I know, there's only two companies that have paid back. There's only two companies that have paid back Kurt Kramer. Right now I'm forgetting one of them. I'll remember it after I turn this off. But one is GTII. And so the market makers and the brokerage firms believe that Kurt Kramer's pattern of behavior is he's always able to come up with these hundreds of millions of shares because it's in the toxic convertible note formula. So he'll do it this time. So that's how I think he's been able to get away with it for 2 decades. A lot of people make money off of guys like Kurt Kramer. And the system is designed to look the other way. It's a lot like, and I know this is a trite example, but it describes myself. It's a lot like if I walked in a room in college or when I was a broker and people are snorting cocaine. I didn't report them. I didn't join in. So was I under an obligation since they're breaking the law to report them? Maybe. But I looked the other way. But I didn't actively, and that's what I think happens on Wall Street. A lot of the people that should be regulating this just look the other way because it's such a flood of profits for Wall Street. So that's my long-winded answer to your question. Madoff went to jail, just like, that's actually a good question, and it helps us. Your question helps us. When I was a broker at a wealth manager at Merrill Lynch, Merrill did the exact same thing that Mike Milken did. But they went after Mike Milken. Why? Because he was ornery and mean. He was out in California. Drexel was a little bit of an upstart, maverick. They're all mavericky, as Sarah Palin might say. So when they had to take someone out to the public square and hang them, draw and quarter and hang them, they took Mike Milken. But guess what? Merrill Lynch was doing the same stuff, and Merrill continued doing it. And so the rest of them could continue doing the same ball game, but they took one guy out there for the appetites of the public and the media. The media doesn't care anymore. We don't have journalism anymore. They're all bought and paid for. They all say the same thing. There's no Woodsteins anymore. So what helps with Madoff was returning 24% per annum without interruption. Nobody can do that. But everybody looked the other way. It was commission. It was assets under management. Why rock the boat? Well, when things got tough and finally, after years, there was the crash came. They needed a distraction. They needed to take somebody out to the public square and shoot him. They took Madoff. And if you go from 2008 to now, all the too big to fail banks, the derivatives, the leverage, the CDOs, the no proof of funds loans, the short selling, the margin, the hedge funds, the leverage, the bailout by the Fed. It's all gigantic now compared to 2008. So by isolating Madoff, the rest of the rats could continue scurrying around. Well, the reason it helps us is in both, all three of our stocks, but both of our shorts. They're both, the Lind Partners fancies themselves a higher breed of criminal and clientele, that's the wrong word, a higher breed of Wall Street Denzian than Kurt Kramer and Seth Kramer. But they're doing the same thing. The Lind Partners is on Madison Avenue. They don't want to lose this posh address. They don't want to lose their reputation. Kurt Kramer doesn't care about reputation, as far as I can tell. He just cares about money. Well, anyway, if you're Wall Street and all of a sudden the focus comes, right now, Gary Gensler is about to go before Congress and propose revolutionary new rules to the SEC and cover himself in glory. He's going to go before the bought and paid for Maxine Waters. He's going to try to go before, and the Sherrod Brown, bought and paid for, the bought and paid for Biden administration. And he is from the Clinton administration, the best administration ever, and it's not Trump. They're going to pass all that, and they're going to say, wow, we did something. But what didn't they do? He did not address settlement. He did not address settlement or naked shorting. So if people like you and this CEO and a short squeeze comes and it turns focus finally, and of course the media is missing in action. If it turns attention to this naked shorting, what will Wall Street do? They'll get all together and they'll pick one of the outliers to take to the public square and hang by their throat. And it's going to be someone outside of the main group. So it'll be the Lind Partners. It'll be Kurt Kramer. And that helps us. I've never seen it. I'd like to see it. Yeah, I think CRT just declared war, and that poor guy. You're gonna find out he has a mistress in Russia, and that he attends gay bars, and that he did cocaine with, Joe Biden's son. They're going to come up with all sorts of stuff to ruin his credibility, and that's unfair. So stick by him, Jeremy. Stick by him, because they're gonna come. He's courageous. They're gonna come at him with everything. If they find a picture from his college days where he, I don't know, was kissing the dean's daughter or something, they're just gonna try to ruin his credibility. I'm gonna stand by him just for what he just did. I admire him. All right, Brent. I will relax. I'm actually feeling tired, but he is my hero, KYP. He is. They're going to loosen the rules for hedge funds? Unbelievable, Candace. Hang 'em high. When you hang a man, you better look at him. Retail, Ham wanted to do that, so Momo. I think that DD, if I'm seriously interested in knowing what the other company was, just another day. I can't remember, DD. Are you going to pull those pistols or whistle Dixie? So he's getting on the raft. He's getting on the raft to go across the river, and the obsequious drawman is singing Dixie, and then as they get closer to the other side, he starts singing, "Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." And on the raft, this guy dressed in a white suit, top to bottom, and he's selling a bottle of, I forget what he called it, but it's just a bottle of colored water, but it cures all ailments. So he's pitching this to Josie Wales. He says, "Would you like a bottle of my elixir? He gives his sales pitch. It works on coughs and stomach aches, and it cures this and that." And Clint looks at him, and he's chewing tobacco, and he expectorates on the guy's white jacket. And Clint says, Josie Wales says, "How does it do on stains?" The snake hole salesman. September morn. How's it do on stains? Oh no, Josie Wales. And then they wait on the other side while he's cleaning it. The guy in the white suit's cleaning it. "Oh no, Josie Wales, you're not going to get away from these men. What we have here is something we call Missouri justice. No, we have something here in this state that we call justice." And Clint puts his gun up, and as all the soldiers are on the raft in the middle of the river, and there's a rope holding it, Clint says, "Well, Mr. Carpet Man, what we have here is a Missouri boat ride. We have something here called the Missouri boat ride." You drink it. I liked that part. You drink it. Arkansas. Well, there's a author, a reporter.
You have to finish packing.
Am I witty?
Paris is far away, love.
No, really.
What? I don't know why that's coming on. Yeah, there's a journalist, Daddy Cherry, from Haiti, and I'm surprised she's still alive. Let me see if I can find just a headline. I don't want to bore you with the whole thing. I just want to find a headline of an article she wrote. Here's from the Huffington Post, which is long gone. But here's Daddy Cherry. Haitian-born writer Daddy Cherry on the IRHC and the Clinton Foundation Return Haiti's earthquake billions. They raised $10 billion for Haiti in the earthquake. And when the hurricane went through just a couple years ago, when you saw the pictures, nothing had changed. Where'd the $10 billion go? My contention is that $10 billion bought a lot of government control. $10 billion, that's what I think happened. He just shot an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself if he's going to decorate his saloon with my friend Ned. Now, any better move on back on out of there. You be William Money out of wherever. You've killed women and children. I've killed everything that's walked or crawled on this earth. But I'm here to kill you, little Bill. Yashek. That guy can't, he's promised to go loaded for bear. He's loaded for bear. Loaded for bear. Right at the end, I said that one before, but I love it at the end where William Money is having a drink at the bar after he's the duck of death. Duke. The duck of death. Well, there you go, KYP. And see, now you're starting to think it's really hard for people who are good people, all of you guys, even the ones that get upset with me, all good people, good citizens. It's hard to understand how corrupt it is. You have a man crush and you're straight. Just remember, he comes from Albany. Or he went to Albany, SUNY at Albany. I don't know what you've got. I don't know what you got, but it's got me. Baby, baby, baby. I gave you all of my money, but not one time did you say thanks. But you got something I want. You got something, and it's got me. Baby, baby, baby. I'm going to... I got to shut it down. You're right. 5:24. I'm going to go walk Lucky. It's 8 p.m. I'll come on at 7:30. How's that? And I'll try not to talk about upstream. I'll try not to talk about upstream. And we'll listen and we'll talk. And then I'm going to do I think I'm going to try to do a video on MMTLP, GTII, short. And on, maybe I'll do one on CRTD and on LGIQ tonight. And I don't know if they can give me, I don't do a good job with it, Clint. He said, nag, nag, nag. That movie with the Cagney Lacey chick. When he's interviewing Dagny or whatever her name is, It was so funny. I'm just wondering who knows what rule's being broken here. Well, you know, the one negative for me of streaming is there's some work I should be getting done, and I've mishandled some of my own trades, but it's all worth it because I really think together that I'll give you an example, and I don't want to test the fates, but I think they fully intended to drive GTII back to 50 cents or 70 cents. And I think we stood strong. Now, I don't think it was just us. I think it's Ham and Tommy and the GTI Army and Avid and normally I would include Lou, but in this case, I think he stepped aside for at least temporarily. And then it's a bunch of people working at GTII, so and a lot of whales. So it's not just us, but we stood there strong, and I think you have something to be proud of for that you you remained strong. You remain strong. All right, so 5:26. I'll go 3 more minutes just in case, and I know she's probably gone. I'll wear this for Alicia, and then I'll come back on in 2 hours. 2 hours. It's lucky. I feel so badly for him. He's all enthusiastic, but he almost falls off. He's just getting old. And he never complains. He never complains. I am the best, Alicia said. I thought you're not allowed to speak for Alicia. Tony Maz. Anthony Maz. Well, Roger, I think it's going to destroy the shorts. But what's going to be in Alicia? What's going to be really interesting, Roger, is it could really shake the whole system. It really could shake the whole system. And I think guys like Gary Gensler should be afraid because it's what Gerald Celente says. And I highly recommend Gerald Celente. He says, I'm going to take this off. Well, that's all right. I'll wear it until 5:30. Gerald Celente says, when people lose it, they lose it. In other words, when it's like Waylon Jennings says, and I think it was Billy Joe Shaver that said it, when you're down to your last shuck, with nothing to lose or nothing to sell. When it's all gone, you lash out. And that's what guys like Gary Gensler have to be afraid of. Let's rock. Exactly. I'm getting fuck. All right, let me see what I wasn't singing Prince, but he's great. Yeah, that could be. That's right. It could be putting lipstick on a pig. He says, the highway, she's a hotter than 9 kinds of hell. I would sing it, except you know how badly I am. The rides, they're as scarce as the rain. When you're down to your last shuck with nothing to sell and too far away from the train. It's been a good month of Sundays and a guitar ago. Had a tall drink of yesterday's wine. Left a long string of friends, some sheets in the wind, and some satisfied women behind. Hey, ride me on down easy, Lord, ride me on down. Leave word in the dust where I lay. Say I'm easy come, easy go, and easy to love when I stay. That's Waylon. No, this is for Alicia. So it's not a gay shtick. It's not a gay shtick. I didn't mean to swear. I just got frustrated with it's the things I have at my disposal. I mean, I could do this instead. I could do that instead. All right, it's 5:32, and who comes up with this? I like the lipstick. All right. All right, I'm going to hang up and be back in 2 hours. And we'll look forward to hearing the hamster. Much less creepy, I know, Jeff. I really want your peaches. Want to shake your tree? Is that how it went? Anyway, all right, guys. I'm gonna go, and I'll see you in 2 hours.